Greetings. Welcome to my podcast that features my book, Colonial American History Stories, 1215 through 1664. In this episode, I talk about the man that gave America its name, Amerigo Vespucci, and the two German scholars that gave that name to the two continents. The man from whom North and South America take their name made four documented voyages of discovery to the New World. The first departed from Cadiz, Spain on May the 10th, 1497. He would make three more, the fourth of which he would correctly surmise what many already suspected. The lands Columbus discovered were not Asia. They were a previously unknown continent that blocked the Europeans' much sought after path to Asia. Amerigo Vespucci lived from March the 9th, 1454 until February the 22nd, 1512, the third son of Nastasio Vespucci and Lisabetta Mini was born in Florence, Italy. Amerigo received his education from his uncle Giorgio Antonio Vespucci. Giorgio was a Dominican friar of the monastery of San Marco. Amerigo first worked as a clerk for the Florentine commercial house of Medici. During the course of his life, he would be an explorer, financier, navigator, and cartographer. The Medici sent him to Cadiz, Spain in 1492 to investigate the operations of their office. During his time in Cadiz, he became involved with provisioning ships. He probably acquired the provisions for one or two of Columbus's voyage and probably met Columbus at one point. According to accounts, it was one of these conversations that awakened the desire to become a discoverer. Thus, at 43 years old, Vespucci decided to pursue his new dream. Historians dispute the fact of the first voyage, which are based on a letter that someone may have forged. If true, Vespucci's flotilla of four ships departed Cadiz on May the 10th, 1497, and passed through the East Indies. It reached the coast of Venezuela sooner than Columbus did. However, there are problems with the dates and geographic locations in the letters. The issues have not been resolved, and many feel that this voyage did not take place. Vespucci's suspicions grew the second and third voyages. He soon surmised that the lands Columbus discovered were not Asia. The third voyage reached as far south as Rio de Janeiro. Vespucci claimed to have reached the Patagonia latitude. No one has verified this. Indeed, there are many of the details of these voyages that no one can ascertain, but there is much that can. Scholars and historians have been arguing these details for decades. They will probably debate forever about them. Vespucci recorded the details of his voyages in a series of letters that became published. These letters circulated around Europe and came to the attention of two German scholars, Martin Wildesmuller and Matthias Ringman, who were preparing to publish a new map. Martin Wildesmuller read Vespucci's written accounts of his voyages. The men produced a map on April the 25th, 1507, that depicted a landmass with the northern and southern portions. They labeled the southern portion America, using the feminized Latin version of Vespucci's name. The name stuck. It was later map makers that applied the name to both North and South America. This map was the first to depict Columbus's new discoveries as part of a new world, not Asia. Most people at the time still believed that the land Christopher Columbus discovered in 1492 to be a part of that continent. Westmuller and Ringman based their theory on the voyages of Americus Vespucci, whose voyages to the New World they studied. Martin Westmuller lived from 1470 until 1521. Born in Wolfenweiler, Germany, his family moved to Freiburg in Breisgau, Germany. After studying at the University of Freiburg, he became a geographer. Then he became involved with the Gymnasium Vosges at Saint-Day, now in France. Matthias Ringman lived from 1482 until 1511. Born in Eichhofen, Alsace, Ringman was a German cartographer and humanist poet. He visited Italy around 1503, where he learned about the new discoveries to the west. He first heard about the voyages of Amerigo Vespucci, and for a time thought that it was Vespucci that made the discoveries. After concluding his visit, he went to the excuse my French, it's terrible, Saint des Vosges in Lorraine. Here he and his friend Martin Wildesmuller corroborated on a new Latin edition of Ptolemy's treatise on geography. Ringman and Waldesmuller joined the Gymnasium Hence at Sanday. The gymnasium initiated an ambitious project to update the world's geographic knowledge. The map they produced they titled the Universalis Cosmographia. It shows the new lands with the name America on them. In the accompanying book, the Cosmographia Introductio, they detail the reasons for their choice. The men had studied Amerigo Vespucci's notes and journals about his explorations. They compared to what they knew about Asia. They decided that the accounts of Asia and the accounts of Columbus and Vespucci did not match the descriptions of Asia. They concluded that this must be a new land. The map consisted of 12 panels. It depicted the New World as consisting of two portions, with a north and a south sector. The south portion they named America using the feminized version of Americus Vespucci's name. They initially published 1,000 copies, of which only one is known to be in existence. German Chancellor Angela Merkel bestowed this copy upon the United States Library of Congress in 2007. She did this in gratitude for the United States' contribution to modern-day Germany. The Library of Congress currently displays this map in Washington, D.C. Find out more about colonial history of the United States by purchasing the book Colonial American History Stories, 1215 through 1664. The book is a timeline of events from Christopher Columbus to 1664. It is part of a larger series of books, the Timeline of the United States series. This series, at this time, takes the reader up to the opening year of the Revolutionary War, 1775. I am currently writing 1776. You can find it on my website, www.mossyfeetbooks.com, on the Timeline of United States History category. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, and other online booksellers. You may choose to purchase the book in ebook or softbound versions. An audiobook version is available on Google Play. At the conclusion of this series, I will compile the episodes into an audiobook. This audiobook will be available on Audible, Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, as well as many other audiobook sellers. You can find this podcast on Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, TuneIn, and many other podcast platforms. I publish a video version on YouTube and Rumble. In the next series, we will learn about the explorations of Spanish explorers Juan de Ponce de Leon. You can order these books direct from me, the author, on the webpage. If you wish me to sign the book, just send an email to me to mossyfeetbooks@gmail.com requesting a signed book and instructions on how you want me to address it. Note, if you send me an email, I will add you to my contact list. Readers on the list will receive an email from me announcing when I publish a new book. If you do not want me to add you to the list, tell me and I will not add you. Listeners of this podcast that want email notifications of my new releases can just send me an email requesting addition to the list. You can choose to have your name removed at any time. If you browse the website, you will find dozens of sample chapters, one for each of my books. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.